Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Lunchtime with Anna. Guys, I have not been on air, and I know I haven't. I've been to Louisiana with my human justice organization. We are at 100% success rate. Our clients are our favorites. We'll do whatever. Send us over your case and we'll work with you. Christy was also there with us, with me. It was really nice to see Louisiana for the first time. We ate and everything, so I'm always down with eating, which is not probably the best thing for me to say with my special guest today, but we'll get to him in a second. I wanted to also say our client David Scott. David Scott is up for parole this month. Hashtag his name. The man was really railroaded. When you did a crime that you should have been out a while ago and another inmate stabs you and says he wants a man of color to stab him, we had to get involved, and 27 years is a long time. You should not be serving a life sentence for somebody who stabbed you and you self-defended yourself. So our hearts and prayers are with you, David Scott. Hashtag his name. We sent out his packet and we are like fingers crossed that he gets home after 27 years. We also have Maurice Morris. Same thing, got railroaded, should have only been in there for 5 to 10 years, is sitting there on a murder charge. We are also sending out his parole packet. Please, hashtag his name. You can see all of this on We See You Human Justice Organization page as well as mine or my Vice President, Christy. We are a team. We're working with you. Send over the cases. We'll review them. And, we want to get everybody out. We want to get everybody out. So, if, it's something that's real, please don't waste our time because there's clients that really need us that have been sitting there for 20 years and have had no help. So please don't waste our time if please don't. Anyways, we've had a few of those too. And so, guys, I'm in a comic book. If you haven't seen it, it's on my page. I will be a comic book character. I'm pretty proud of that. Pretty awesome. Lunchtime with Anna will be a cartoon character. Moshe, I will be playing Detective Garcia. We will be filming till the end of the summer. Season 1 will come out by the end of the year. I'm also going to be filming Searching for Raymond. It is about a mother who lost her son, and we're still looking for Raymond. So hopefully, I play the part. I'm playing Angela, the operator for the missing and exploited children. So I'm really excited about that. I don't know what else I got, like off the top of my head, because I have so much going on. But enough about me. Of course, I got my right-hand girl right here, as you guys can see. But we have this man right here, Dr. Inky. I've been so anxious to interview him. And why have I been anxious to interview him? Because of the education he's going to bring to us people of color. Us people of color like to eat like to my defense, look. I did eat a salad, didn't I? While I was at a state, because I have been on a diet for quite some time because I deal with thyroid. So I did eat a salad while out of state. But I'd like for you to introduce yourself, and I appreciate you taking out of your time to come on my platform today because this is like my most exciting interview of all year round. I've been waiting on this one.
Man, I almost don't even want to say anything after that introduction. Like it's almost impossible for me to live up to that. Dr. Enqi. I'm not a medical doctor or a surgeon. I'm a naturopathic doctor, also a sports nutritionist.
I love it.
Personal trainer, master herbalist, and what else? I got a bunch of certifications. Elite calisthenics specialist.
Okay.
But anyway, my most, you know, the most thing, the most prestigious of my certifications, you know, is I have 10 children, most of which, you know, I raised by myself. I have 5 little ones I'm raising by myself.
Congratulations.
Um,
For being an awesome dad.
my whole life is that, like, there's not even a Dr. Inky outside of me and my children, because
Yes, I get it.
as a kid, you know, my hobby and love of magic kind of grew into like science experiments, and then a love of science, and you know, um, so you know, that's kind of where the self-education savant kind of reputation comes from. But it wasn't until my daughter, and at the time, I guess this is the birthing moment, you know what I'm saying, of Dr. Inky. But I was working at Verizon Wireless,
Okay.
number one in phone sales every month. So I was getting
Okay.
like
Hey.
$70,000-$80,000 a year. So,
Okay.
you know, as most people in those especially like back in the early 2000s, or in those social media spaces, was, you know, anti the white man. That was the kind of the conversation, you know what I'm saying? And I was never really in that pocket. I was kind of like, oh, yeah, white folks, all right, you know what I mean? Cool, you know what I'm saying? Like, but you know, my daughter had got into she got ran over. It's not even an accident. You know, she got and ironically, it was a nurse that said she had did like a triple shift. She fell asleep behind the wheel, ran over all 3 of my children, but only the smallest, Amber, she got the worst of it. So her neck was broken and her spine was broken in 3 places. Her pelvis was crushed, her left leg, left foot, everything. Um, and you know, they basically said, if she makes it, you know what I'm saying? If she makes it, because they weren't even in a space where they was like, listen, you know, chances are, if she makes it, she'll be paralyzed for life. So let's hope for that. You know what I'm saying? Let's hope for paralyzed for life. And I was kind of like, yeah, I'm probably not gonna. This probably not. That's probably a little beneath my goal setting. Yeah, that's not gonna be my ambition. And so, you know, we switched hospitals again. We eventually wind up at, you know, over with Columbia, and um, you know, I was wrestling with them in the ICU, and I had to put together my own little herbal formulas and bring them in there, and that kind of created a whole big controversy in the hospital. And then me and her mom, my wife at the time, me and her mom, my wife at the time, we fell out. I had to have her removed from the hospital a few times because the lawyer told her, if I keep interfering with what the doctors are doing and giving her my own home remedies as opposed to allowing her to take medicine, that, you know, that we wouldn't be able to get any money from that in court. You know what I'm saying? And so that was a, you know, internal thing. And I'm like, yo, I don't really, you know, I don't, that's not an issue for me. I'm not even, you can't bring that to me because I never even spoke to the lawyer. I'm like, yo, I don't care about none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm good. I just need my baby to walk again. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, fast forward, everybody kind of sees what happens with that, you know, and then that kind of legend, or you know, that kind of just seeps out into the community, and people start hitting me up for stuff. And you know, I just kind of start helping folks out, but it wasn't like a thing that I was gonna do. You know what I'm saying? This was never a thing for me to grow up and do. It was either like Biggie Smalls say, either you're slinging crack rock or you got a wicked jump shot. You know what I'm saying? So I was watching basketball thinking I was gonna be LeBron, or you know what I'm saying, Kobe or something. Yeah, this wasn't. Yeah, healing wasn't there, or drop an album. You know what I'm saying? Like drop a, you know, this. I'm from 158th Street in the Bronx, so that I had those choice A, B, or C, the similar multi, you know. So this kind of just came out of nowhere, and then people started asking me for help, and before you know it, stuff is working. And then, you know, as stuff begins to happen for people, that becomes a story that people oh, well, such and such had diabetes, and Inky, and this one had some fungus on their feet, and then Inky, and then you heard about the cancer with the oh yeah, Inky. And then so pretty soon, you know, I'm doing like 3 or 4 cities a month, doing like speaking engagement in churches and schools and all over the place. And
congratulations.
Thanks.
So
and that process, what?
Where did you get the inspiration to be able to, like, I know there's a lot like Dr. Sarabi, I want to say, am I saying it right?
Sebi, Dr. Sebi.
Oh, gotcha. Dr.
So,
Sebi.
So did you derive a lot of your information from him? Like when you were trying to, okay.
No. So I'll explain it. So I got all my information from actual science, like hardcore science, and just understanding how the actual body works.
Mm-hmm.
I had never heard of Dr. Sebi, Dr. Africa, Jewel Pilgrim, like none of them people.
Right.
And even in the space when I healed my daughter, I didn't know about none of them guys.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until after that, you know what I'm saying, when, you know, people start talking to me and I start talking to people, they would say, oh, you know, you sound like Dr. Africa. And then I'm like, who's Dr. Africa? And they're like, oh, well, you need to read up on Dr. Africa. And boom, boom, boom. So I was studying Dr. Africa. And then once you start studying Dr. Africa, you know, you kind of get into that holistic. I never even, at the time that I healed my daughter, I didn't even know the word holistic. It wasn't even a part of my vernacular because my headspace wasn't there. I was into, like I said, the, you know, type of universe. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What we would consider ratchetness, you know, that was my entire mental and physical diet was pure effery, you know what I'm saying? So I never heard of any of those guys. Now, later on, because of my friends, you know what I'm saying, I wound up being able to meet Dr. Sebi's wife.
Yes.
That was actually the main person that did the work with him.
Yes,
He was actually the first person to encounter HIV and AIDS and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So by the time I meet her, I already got like a product line and I've already been doing this. I got books out. But
I am just smiling this whole interview. You are awesome. You are awesome. Just keep going. Keep going. Don't stop with this story. Keep going.
Thank you. But so her whole approach to health was like so matter of fact and so simple that I started coming to her house every day.
Yes.
With a notebook. I would just like, okay, so
I know that's right.
So now what you were saying about this and that and the other.
Yes.
So she just allowed me to like jump into like an accelerator. Like she was like the nitro, you know what I'm saying? Like when you see Fast and Furious and they all go hit that button. She gave me that extra, you know, but you know, it's just been a journey from there. And then along the road when we were doing all of the lectures, because before I became a doctor, before I got, you know, became a certified naturopathic doctor, I was an ordained minister. So we traveling around and it's just minister. But in that space, I wanted to, you know, further what I was doing or whatever.
Absolutely.
And we on the road, like when we on the road, it's road life. I don't know if anybody knows road life. If you've been a comedian, if you've been a poet, if you've been a rapper, a singer, you know what the road life is.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have all those options laid out to eat the ideal.
That's right.
Kind of
fast food.
So, my guy who was like I guess he was our promoter / manager in the time. His name is Diallo. We in Chicago doing some local lectures there, and we go to a vegan restaurant. Now he sits down. This is the first time he really got to see me actually eat in person, because a part of my story that I used to tell folks is, you know, I used to be 260 pounds. Like I'm a fat guy still at heart. So
I get it.
This is not optional for me. If I don't, you know, if I don't focus on what I'm doing, I'll be 300 pounds overnight. Like I could put on 100 pounds in 24 hours. Like it's So he didn't believe.
Oh, I'm feeling you. I'm feeling you.
I use that all the time. I say, you know, before I was real big, and I would tell people, I say, you know what? Number one, the first thing that happens, I gained 10 pounds thinking about eating it.
Man, I'm telling you.
And then the second part is after I put it close to my mouth, I gained 30 pounds.
I know that's right.
To it, I gained 100 pounds. And after swallowing it, I gained
Wait,
30.
hold on. You forgot the 30 pounds you gained while cooking it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. And tasting it, sneaking
yes.
Yes.
I said it all the time. And I'm like, you know, I have a fat person syndrome because everybody knows I'm on my weight loss journey. And I've been losing weight and due to some things I've done. And Anna be laughing at me because like when I first got to start back eating and got to get myself together, right? Man, I got the hugest plate. I had my fat people match turning. And I couldn't eat a teaspoon.
Shout out to my classmate, Curtis Bell.
See, that Curtis
Bell influenced me for the worst, but it wound up in the long run being for the best. So,
okay.
You know, in the hood, you know, you growing up, wild situation, fridge empty, you know, parents struggling, whatever. We know the stories, you know what I'm saying? Drugs, welfare, we got it. But anyway, Curtis, he had two hardworking parents, you know what I'm saying? So they had a few dollars or whatever. So we used to cut school and go to Curtis' house. When we go to Curtis' house, you know what I'm saying? You know, it'd be a lot of us. Most of us be in Curtis' bedroom playing video games. Not me and Curtis. Me and Curtis be in the kitchen watching the cooking channel, cooking shit. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, Curtis influenced me, you know what I'm saying? Where, you know, I always enjoyed making stuff. And then, you know, like even making stuff is problematic because you in there like, you know, not the fake making, you just measuring. No, when you in there like, so by the time you make that meal, some people be full. Like you'll be full damn near because you already had about a plate and a half. You'd had about a plate and a half before you even finished cooking.
Yes.
You know, so it get crazy. You know what I'm saying? But so when he sat down, we in the restaurant and he watched me. I ordered like 2 pieces of lasagna.
Ooh,
I had a couple of double cheeseburgers. Now, mind you, it's all vegan. So, you know,
vegan
burgers, couple of lasagna slices. Wait a minute. Is that pie right there? I'm like, wait, is that pie? Oh my goodness. Give me 3. How many flavors of pie you got? Just give me 1 slice of every pie you got back there.
You sound like me at Walmart.
I'm like, hey, I'm like, that ice cream ain't vegan too, is it? Don't tell me that ice cream. Damn it, put that vegan ice cream on there too.
Look, I went vegan. Like for everybody don't know, I'm partially vegan. I'm trying to go full vegan. And I'm taking my kids to learn a journey. So yesterday I cooked. I had bought these noodles, right? They're made out of lentil and spinach, right? So I got my noodles and I said, okay, I'm gonna fix me. I'm gonna do my old-fashioned recipe and fix me some shrimp Alfredo with the noodles. So I got my shrimp, I cut it up, I sauteed it, seasoned them up, put them in a little pot. I put my noodles in there, got my cheese sauce poured in there, stirred it up, left it on the stove. My daughter come through there and fixed her some. Boop. Ate it. Oh, mama, that's good. All right, girl, I'm glad you like it. Son came through there. These 11 and 12-year-olds. Oh, mama, that's good. Can I have some more? You sure can, baby. He's like, wait a minute, what's the catch? You ain't saying nothing. That's how it's all right. I'm going to get me a little bit too. You eating this too? I say, yeah, it's vegan. They all look. Are you serious? I had got vegan corn dogs. Y'all, the food is delicious. Like I had in my own mind that it was some nasty rabbit food tasting. I ate pizza and it was made out of cauliflower crust and the cheese and the meat was on there. And when I tell you, I feel so much better. It's one of the reasons why I no longer have diabetes, the reason why I no longer have cholesterol issues, because I changed my frame of mind of eating. Like, I know it's a book that I read, and the book was called Eat to Live and Not Eat to Die. And it was by a minister, shoot. It wasn't by Farrakhan, but it was by
Muhammad.
Yeah, like thank you. And I read
Volume
that
1 and
book.
Volume 2. Yep.
Yep, I really enjoyed that book, and I started reading. And I say, you know what? And it didn't click how food really take over our life.
Do you know those books were the basis for intermittent fasting today? So those two books popularized what we know of nowadays as intermittent fasting, because that was the basic, most powerful, I think, anyway, premise in the book was that you could reduce your medical bills by 90% if you just ate one meal a day. So from that concept, it just kind of got popular and more popular, and then we got intermittent fasting. But anyway, so when my friend,
so you had all your pies.
Oh yeah, right. So he's like, yo, we got to go on a fast. And
okay.
So this is the moment that kind of changes everything. So when we go on the 40-day fast, well, he said that I went home and, like created the fast, wrote it out. Oh, I'm like, okay, if I'm going to do this, then everybody going to do this.
We're all going to do this. Yeah.
So it turns into a competition between his city and my city. I'm in Philly at the time. He in Chicago.
Okay.
And, well, no, we was in Chicago, but he's from Chicago, but he lived in Ohio. And so anyway, we started this competitive thing with the fast. And it kind of grew legs. His wife had some African church group at the time at the house. And so they took it back to Africa with them. So from the very first time we did the 40-day fast, we had it like on multiple continents.
Okay.
So it just grew from there. And the beauty about that was it wasn't like restricted to anybody. Like I had black folks, white folks, red folks, yellow folks, tall folks, short folks, fat folks, skinny folks, old folks, young folks. I had people with cancer, people with diabetes, people with HIV, people with, lupus. I had people that were NFL athletes, Super Bowl winners, college students, like every walk of life. And so I kept running it almost, maybe want to say almost about 10 years.
Wow.
And that time period allowed me to collect a lot of the information that became the article. So I don't know if Knowledge was able to send y'all the article and y'all read up on the article. Did y'all read the article? Okay, so anyway, so that's what becomes the article, is this 10-year study that I did on everybody doing this fast. And so once because there's certain things that I was, curious about, just my personal curiosities, you know what I'm saying? And certain things that I wanted to personally address, because anytime you get into any type of philanthropic space or philanthropy of any kind, what people don't realize is, you have people that get into philanthropy because it's some slick business move, but most people are following their passion. It's something that affected their life tremendously, and they want to figure that out. So early on, having a lot of people around me, cancer and diabetes and all that kind of stuff, I wanted to understand why, colored people, melanated people, black folks, brown folks, Latino, like, why were we at a 200% risk factor to everybody else?
Absolutely.
That confused me, because scientifically that didn't make any sense. If we're all eating the same diet, we all at McDonald's. It's not like we're the only ones eating McDonald's. We're all at McDonald's. We all got the same bacon, sausage, whatever thingy, the bacon sausage biscuitator, you know what I'm saying? Like, we all got that same, we in the club, the pop the bottle, it's the same. So I'm like, how do we wind up? And then, you got the scientists from the late, what is that? I don't even know how long ago it was. Mendel, the scientists that discovered the difference between dominant genes and recessive genes.
Yes.
But that makes a bigger problem, because now this guy says that we have dominant genes. So I'm trying to figure out, how is it that the folks with dominant genes have 200% the risk factor for Alzheimer's, cancer, diabetes? I'm like,
all the bad stuff. Yes.
And we have the lower lifespan. So I'm like, how
absolutely
dominant genes translate to lower lifespan and higher risk of all diseases? I'm like, none of this adds up. So I use that 10-year space with everybody on the same diet, the same supplemental regimen, to be able to put together this study. And from this study, I started to find out that, you know, we didn't know anything about type 2 diabetes. Like the things that we're told just aren't, just not even really, like, you can't get over the hump because the things that we think are issues aren't really issues. So I wound up, shout to Carly, she's my partner.
Carly.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? She's up in Canada, I'm here in Michigan.
Okay.
We went out, hit the streets, did a little survey to kind of you know, highlight some of this stuff. But we went out and just asked people in the streets, like, hey, have you ever heard of melanin before? And some people was like, no. And then some people were like, okay, yeah, I heard of that. I'm like, all right, so what is it? And come to find out, 10 out of 10 Black people don't know what melanin is.
Wow.
That's sad. That's what makes us Black.
It's a lot more to it than that. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. So we went out there, nobody really understood what melanin was completely in terms of anything past melanin absorbs sunlight or protects you from the sun.
Cells and stuff like that. Yeah.
And that is the furthest from that's not melanin's job. That's like saying insulin's job is to help your body absorb sugar. That's not what insulin is for. So, so my next question was to ask people, what's diabetes? I'm like, hey, you know what diabetes is? And they're like, yeah, isn't that the thing with the sugar? I'm like, I don't know. You tell me. You know what I'm saying? So they're like, oh, well, you know, insulin's supposed to make the sugar go into the cells. And then I'm like, no, insulin's not supposed to do that. That's not what insulin's job is. That's why we are still sick. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't have the information.
And the sad part is that doctors, when you go to your doctors, I'm speaking, this is so interesting to me, y'all, because I've been diabetic for so long. And when you go to the doctor, when you find out that you have it, the first thing they do is put you on metformin, which is really terrible for your stomach, terrible for your system, puts it in a disarray. But that's the first medicine they give you. And it's like they don't tell you any information about it except that your sugar is high. My grandma used to say, baby, you just so sweet, you got sugar. You know, those old folks, I got sugar. That's what I got. I got them sugars. That's down here in the South.
That makes it even more confusing too, because most people, when you talk and when you ask them, you know, they say, oh yeah, well, you know, you're eating too much sugar. And that becomes the number one. That's like the number one. I don't know which one is the number one. Because it's tied. It's a tie between insulin is responsible for metabolizing sugar, and eating sugar is the reason why you have diabetes. Like the first thing people need to understand about insulin is that insulin's job is not to help you metabolize sugar. That's not what insulin's job is. Insulin's job is to make you fat. That's what insulin does. Insulin is a steroid type of hormone. And it's something that's so powerful at making you get fatter and bigger that bodybuilders use it. You know what I'm saying? It's and a lot of bodybuilders don't like me doing these interviews because this is their secret. Like when the big bodybuilders, when they get hot and they got contests and things like that they got to do where they're going to test them for steroids, they stop using traditional steroids and start injecting insulin.
Wow.
Because insulin is what makes you huge. It turns on your mTOR system, and your mTOR system tells your body to start synthesizing more cells. So you get either more muscles or you get more fat cells, but you're going to get bigger. Problem with that is obesity is like the number one risk factor for diabetes. So once you put somebody that has diabetes on something that's going to make them get fatter, you have locked them into diabetes. They're never getting heal diabetes. You see what I'm saying? So the other thing was, you see what I'm saying? It's crazy. But so then the sugar thing, people are talking about eating sugar. The whole thing that you got to understand about diet is there is nothing that you can eat that doesn't increase your sugar. Because your body, you got three basic categories of food. You got your fats, you got your carbs, and you got your protein. Now, we know carbs is sugar. What people don't understand is that a fat cell is, fats are also sugar because fat is where you store the sugar in your body. You know what I'm saying? But so it's just a complex, much stored, stashed kind of inner, you know, but it's still sugar at its base. That's what your body's going to convert fat to in order to use it. And then protein. Your body doesn't store protein. This is like a super magic. Like I would only talk like this with people that's paying me $500 an hour to have conversations. Seriously. So
wow.
The thing with protein is protein, your body doesn't store protein.
Okay.
So because your body doesn't store protein, your body converts the protein that you don't need into sugar because your body stores sugar.
Makes sense.
So even when you eat in the protein, it's still going to contribute to blood sugar. And most doctors and nutritionists and these goofballs that don't really know what they're doing, it's super controversial. Like this like I've made every possible group an enemy of mine by telling me the truth. Seriously, they stopped me from going to churches. Like I used to go to churches everywhere and speak, but the churches, because I used to go right in the church. The first thing I'm asking the people in the church is, what is that shit? I mean, excuse my language. What is that food that y'all have in the back? What is that food that y'all have in the back? Because none of that is in this book. There's no macaroni and cheese in this book. There's no fried chicken in this book. There's no barbecue, nothing. There's no, where did you get that from? Who told you to eat that? Where is the pastor? We need to hold him responsible. I used to be, you know, so I had to learn to communicate a little bit better because I was very inflammatory. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, wait a minute. When y'all get sick, do the pastor tell y'all to go to the hospital? And drugs, or did he tell y'all to go to this Bible and do what the Bible say? Because the Bible say that the herbs are for the healing of the nation. And you know, it just be crazy. It was like, yeah, he's messing. Yeah, we don't. Yeah, good information, but you know, we're gonna. Did you record that? Because we'll just use that. We don't need him to come back again. We don't. Yeah, we don't want him to disrupt because we're doing good with this fried chicken, and you know. But the congregation, you know, half the congregation is on 4, 5, 6 different medications. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, they putting that money in the bucket. They should be getting something out of this place in real time. You know what I'm saying? So. But yeah, so you know that kind of, you know, is always
into the philosophy of that doctors are here just to make us sicker. You know, it's like, because if the doctors heal us completely, then they will be out of a profession, they'll be out of a job.
Well, here's the thing. It's bigger than them. It's bigger than them because they don't even learn. They don't even learn the things. Like a lot of doctors. Before I had sat down, like traveling and dealing with so many people, change like. And I'm still learning and maturing too. But so for instance, one crazy moment was when I was at Temple University. I'm teaching and it's jam-packed in there. It's so jam-packed in the room I'm teaching and people lined up in the hallways, but I'm not teaching the Temple students. I'm teaching the Temple staff. And that wasn't a one-off. I would do that like in oncology wards. I would be in there with clients in the oncology ward, and then the doctors start asking me questions, and then I start telling the doctor stuff, and then before you know it, it's a few of them, you know, similar with Dr. Lee. When Amber was in the hospital with her neck and spine and all that, they brung me down. I'm thinking they getting ready to try to ban me from the hospital. He got like 8 doctors sitting, like 4 on this side, 4 on this side. Everybody's got like their you know, that little clipboard thingy with pencils out, and he's asking me questions, and they all sitting there like, and I'm like, what is going on right now? And he's asking me questions like, why am I stopping them from taking so much blood from Amber? Why is it that I'm not allowing her to eat the hospital food? Why is this and why is that? And I'm just answering his question. I'm like, well, technically every so many hours, you still already have the blood hasn't changed values, blah, 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 blah.
I love it.
The food with the dairy and this, that, and the other is putting.
Well, if I ever get sick, can you come talk to my doctors for me? If I go into the hospital, I just need you to just say on air, so I have a recording of it. That if
but no, I was getting noticed. I was like,
Dr. Inky, Anna, that's for you too. We're gonna make them say it. If we ever have to go to the hospital, y'all make sure y'all get Dr. Inky to us that we can get healed.
I used to go in there. I be
do whatever he say.
Yeah, and Dr. Inky, And so I have medical background, right? So to explain it, we're taught, right? Everything by the book. So for diabetes, there's these instructions.
That's
For
it.
high blood pressure, there's
That's
these
it.
instructions. For thyroid, because I have hypothyroid, and I struggle with weight all the time. There's these issues. You know, there's this. This is what you follow. This is the routine.
Let me ask you, with the hypothyroid, have you started eating like the ocean vegetables and stuff like that?
So no, but what I did do was I have cut off almost all carbs. You know, it's really hard. I struggle. I love carbs. We all love carbs.
Okay,
Okay.
that's like a band-aid.
But
Okay, so wait. That's a band-aid. So here's the thing. Look, the thyroid needs selenium.
Selenium. I do take selenium pills.
Wait. But I'm saying this in the background order. These are background singers.
Uh-huh.
Selenium, tyrosine, and zinc are all background singers.
Okay.
The main thing is iodine.
Iodine.
And it's not just iodine, because they got this thing floating around. You think, oh, well, you got the table salt and blah blah blah. No. That's not how nature wants the iodine delivered. So you get into utilization issues, which becomes another conversation. What can your body utilize? There's a difference between bioavailability and utilization. So just because something's bioavailable to the body doesn't mean your body's going to incorporate that into tissue. So, but yeah, you just got to start eating some ocean vegetables. I think your thyroid will turn around.
So I really worked on it though. Believe it or not, back in August, I got up to 200 pounds. It was a lot. I gained the most. That's the most I gained in no time. And I mean, I wasn't even eating. I just felt tired. I went in October for my birthday, and I just kept having headaches and just my chest. Everything was out of whack.
Kelp is good. Bladderwracks. Yeah, kelp and bladderwrack would probably be the best.
You know, and I'm going to take all of what you're saying, because like I said, I'm willing to try. And I've been on a diet for almost a year now. Okay.
Yeah, T3 and T4 are the main regulators.
Yes.
Of, you know, a lot of your metabolism. And the funny thing is T3 and T4 have a lot more to do with diabetes than iodine. I mean, than insulin even.
Well, that's the weird thing about it. When I started changing my diet, that's where I was going to go. All of a sudden, my numbers for the diabetes spiked up, and I'm like, why? I don't eat sugar like that. You know, I might have things here and there. I'm not going to lie. I cheat all the time. I love food. I love food, but I not enough to cause that. And I'm like, how?
Even the holistic.
It's funny you say that.
Listen, even the holistic healers, all of them, they all hate me because I mess with their business by telling the truth. All this time, right? You had not only holistic healers, but you even had people that are in like, you know, like the trainer workout world. Like they've been telling folks all this time that type 2 diabetes is diet and lifestyle. And so you can get rid of diabetes, type 2 diabetes, with diet and lifestyle. And that works for about 25% of the people that make the diet and lifestyle changes. But the rest of the people, it doesn't work for, because you can't really make lifestyle changes without the right information.
There you go.
So it's like, which lifestyle changes am I making? You know what I'm saying? Am I stopping watching Netflix after 8 p.m.? Like, which lifestyle changes should I be making? You know what I'm saying? So if you start to make lifestyle changes based on what you already knew, and that's kind of like, oh, I'm going to reduce carbs. Like, that's the first thing. I'm going to stop eating sugar.
Yes.
And that's not it. That's a part of it, but that's not it, because your body will start to turn fats into sugars, protein into sugars.
Yes.
The chicken that you're eating, the chicken is going to become sugar.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So, and that's another key piece. Like protein, when you deal with proteins, right? Amino acids, you know, because your body doesn't need protein. It needs the raw amino acids. Make own proteins. That's what so that's a thing there. First off, when you take in animal protein, your body has to break that back down into amino acids. That has an energy cost, which you could bend for your body's benefit if you know what you're doing. but then your body has to reformulate that stuff, whatever the case may be. So now you get into a space where you have to figure out what's going wrong in terms of, I'm doing what the doctors are saying. I've got rid of the carbs. You know what I'm saying? I'm only omega-3, no omega-6, and I'm loading up. I'm a heavy protein, whether it's animal protein or vegan protein, whatever. And I don't see the problem is your body doesn't have a requirement for protein because you don't even exercise. So because you don't exercise, the exercise is going to determine the wear and tear on your body is going to determine how much of the protein you need. How much of the protein you need determines how much of the protein gets turned back into sugar. So if you don't exercise, most people that are dealing with weight issues and sugar issues, they're not athletic. They don't exercise. So now you're eating proteins, but you don't realize that the protein is behaving like ice cream inside your body. You don't realize the chicken, the steak, or the quinoa, or the chickpea is behaving like ice cream in a way because you don't have the protein need. So when your body breaks it down, it goes right to like the gluconeogenesis. You know, it goes down this whole process of, you know, becoming a sugar so that maybe your body can store it as fat or whatever the case may be. But it doesn't fix the issue because you still aren't really understanding what's the problem. You know, you've got to balance the glycogen, you've got to balance the glucose, and then you've got to balance the triglycerides. All those are the three main sugars you're wrestling with. The glucose is in your blood, but the glycogen is in your liver and your muscles, and the triglyceride is in the fat cell. You got to figure out what's going on with all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And they don't tell you that. They just say, hey, you've got some, you know, you've got to cut down the snacks and, you know, you've got to get out there and start walking. Get one of those watches so you can do 10,000 steps a day.
Yeah.
10,000 steps a day. That's not really a good thing because, I mean, it is a good thing. Let me say that. It is a good thing, but it's not an exact science because.
So it's a Band-Aid. It's kind of like you're covering it up.
We don't know what type of 10,000 steps that is.
Yeah.
If you're having 10,000 steps with a milkshake in this hand and a cupcakes in this hand, what did that 10,000 steps?
Yeah.
You
like I used to do.
And stay.
I used to be on a treadmill run. I said, whoo, I did my 2 hours, my heart rate. Now give me my Snickers and a Coke, I'm fine.
Listen, yeah, I'm telling you, because there's so many different facets to this. And this is why it's a lot of holistic healers. They be mad when I outclass them. And then when I speak to people and I give them a different type of truth, they realize that they've been ripped off sometimes. These guys aren't well-rounded. You haven't spent any time as a personal trainer so you understand what real exercise is. So you might be great with herbs, but if you don't understand how to couple herb usage with exercise and then couple herbs exercise with diet, you don't really know how to deal with metabolic issues because metabolic issues it's not about taking an herb. You know, herbs can help, but these are things that supplement. That's not supplement is not main thing. It's a supplement. It's something that helps the main thing. The main thing is recoupling your diet with your lifestyle. That's the main change that has to take place. The food that you eat has to be based on how it is that you live every day. Once that happens, you're in business. Then we just got to make some other quick things, tighten up. And like the last, I went through this period from February to mid-April where I lost 25 pounds with no exercise. So I've been refining this down to really learning how the body works. I'm like, nope, you don't need exercise to lose weight and get you to your six-pack space. You just have to know how your body works. And so come to find out, and this is why this is melanin versus diabetes, but your melanin system is what's responsible for the sugar. This is the reason why people of color have a higher proclivity to get type 2 diabetes because this is a melanin system issue. So the first thing I had to learn was that there's a hormone that your brain produces that controls glucose and insulin. That hormone is regulated by T3, T4 from the thyroid. So the thyroid produces T3, T4. That goes up to your brain and stimulates a hormone called melanin concentrating hormone. Melanin concentrating hormone is the master hormone for insulin regulation and glucose regulation. I said, what the hell is going on here? Where I don't even know. I'm like, wait, how is this? I'm like, how the hell did this even? I'm like, wait a minute.
My sentiments exactly.
I'm like, how is it that I know people that have died from diabetes?
Yes, we all do.
10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years.
Yes.
And never once, they don't even know what that is. When I say concentrating hormone, they think I'm making up some old pro-black other shit. Like they don't understand. They see melanin and think this has got something like, wait a minute. I'm like, hold on.
I love it.
Because I've had people that ask me, could I I really want to support your message and get it out there to the people, but if you could just make it like, a little, I'm like,
what? No.
Let's
say it how it is. Say it how it is.
It's really black, if you could just expand it.
Oh man, say it how it is.
So it's more inclusive. And once your message is more inclusive, we can help you get it out there.
Get out of here.
No. I tell them, I say, you are the problem.
Yes.
You don't even have my message yet.
Yes, get out of here.
Because if you were listening to what I'm teaching, you would understand that melanin has nothing to do with black people solely.
Mm-hmm.
If you are alive, if you have a brain, you have melanin.
Wow.
Every single brain cell and nerve cell is melanated. It's called neuromelanin. So you cannot think or be alive without melanin. So everybody, white, red, yellow, brown, black, purple, green, if we find some green folks, right? They all have melanin or their brain doesn't work, which is what happens when you get Alzheimer's, dementia, and Parkinson's. The neuromelanin in your brain is going lower and lower and lower past a critical level. So now substantia nigra and some of these other locus coeruleus, some of these other areas in the brain are losing their pigment. And as the pigment goes, so does brain functionality. Just like as the pigment goes in your ear, you go deaf. Just like as the pigments go in your eyes, you go blind. This is what pigment does.
And that makes sense.
Logical.
So and so this struggle between excess glucose and the pigments of your body becomes all of the different expressions of disease that we see from type 2 diabetes. So when we look at people losing their feet, the reason why you're not getting the circulation to the extremities is because you have a pigment in your circulatory system called melanopsin. Melanopsin starts to get crystallized. That's what A1C is measuring, how much of the sugar is crystallizing the pigments. You know what I'm saying? It's just, we get a short version of that. We think it's just hemoglobin that's getting crystallized. No, any pigment that's in the presence of glucose can get crystallized. That's what happens with your collagen. Your shoulders start to go, your knees start to go, your elbows and all that, your joints. You thinking it's arthritis, but this is why diabetes increases the risk of arthritis, because it's actually the sugar, crystallizing on the collagens that makes the So all these are just issues with this. You know what I'm saying? This one little simple thing that's getting, blown out of, and even weight loss, right? We don't realize that even weight loss has to do with your melanin system. You know what I'm saying? You're like, what is that? How does melanin have to do with? I said, because your fat cells are controlled by nerves. And so the epinephrine that is going to stimulate those fat cells to empty the sugar out so that you can burn it, that comes from melanin stimulating hormone, which is another hormone in your brain. So you have two different hormones that's based on melanin in your body. One is called melanin stimulating hormone. One is called melanin concentrating hormone. Melanin stimulating hormone is what comes through inside of the ACTH molecule, and becomes epinephrine and all these other different adrenaline complexes that stimulates. So all this stuff is. I said, wait a minute. How come we don't know this? And all this links together, and this is how you see, oh, well, this is why we have the 200% risk factor for type 2 diabetes and everything associated, and then Spanish folks, they got even another little nasty twist on theirs, which makes it a little bit uglier for them because they got something going on with it's two genes that Spanish people have that it's mostly them. But it makes the fructose much more dangerous to Spanish people than anybody else. So Spanish folks, you got to watch out for fructose. And where's fructose? It's in the liquor, right? So liquor is like fructose, just fructose extract. So
who knows that Latinos love to drink liquor.
And so what happens is because fructose can't be processed by your body, it goes to the liver and it turns into fat. So this is why Spanish people have the most problem with fatty liver disease. And then fatty liver disease gives you all the same illnesses as type 2 diabetes, the fibroids, the PCOS, the this, that, and the other, cancer, heart disease, brain disease. All that stuff comes right out of that same matrix.
Yeah, same umbrella. Yeah. I am absolutely loving. I am absolutely loving what you're talking about. You can come up here and give it raw to everybody every week if you like. You hear me?
Man, because we like to eat our crawfish, we like to eat our shrimp, we got that jambalaya, we got them cakes and them pies. We be eating that southern style.
No.
I had to learn.
All that's poison.
I was a big girl.
Look, I'm Haitian, so trust me when I tell you this is like I'm Haitian, and for some reason I don't have like a preference for like I've never been somebody that had a preference for nationalities of if you love dictates, you know what I'm saying? So I've always had a girlfriend or a woman around that was something other than, you know what I'm saying? So like my children's mom's Jamaican, Puerto Rican, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's always some other palette that I'm, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so like I said, I've always been a fat boy at heart, you know what I'm saying? And so just learning all these little facets and details, and then it's like, okay, boom. When you eat the fructose, no matter black, white, Spanish, yellow, red, or whatever, fructose inhibits your body from metabolizing tryptophan. So now if you can't metabolize tryptophan, that's where the diet comes in and starts to block the circadian rhythms. It's not as much the synthetic lights and all this other stuff, which contributes. The biggest factor on it is sugar, because the sugar is going to stop your body from metabolizing tryptophan. And when you don't metabolize tryptophan, your body can't create serotonin. So that means that you'll wake up and be ambitious and happy and a go-getter. That's gone. So now you start to get into that space where the risk of anxiety and depression are up. And if you don't have serotonin, well, guess what else you don't have? Because your pineal gland is responsible for converting serotonin into melatonin. So now if you don't have the serotonin, because you don't have the tryptophan, you also don't have the melatonin. So now at 9 or 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, when you should be sleepy, ready to go to sleep, your body's sleepy, but your brain is still up. So you're just laying there mad as all get out because you can't get to sleep. You're laying around watching TV. I mean, we might as well get a snack. So now we done went into the kitchen because we up and we got to fix something. I got to fix something now. So now, it just gets so right. So see how I go. See, I know she's a fat girl. She know what I'm saying. Any free time for a person who's fat, I'm not talking about your body. I'm talking about your mind and your heart. Any free time for a fat person is a great opportunity.
Snack.
Man, and I got 10 children. I have one. I got a couple of greedy ones. I got maybe 2-3 greedy ones, but Aubrey, me and Aubrey could sit down and just think about food forever. Me and her, we can disappear into conversations and we can watch them goofy old YouTube shows. They got these shows now where just food comes on and you got somebody on there just eating like 75 Big Macs or 2 pounds of, like we just, so, we like food. So it's just like, food's not the enemy. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be, you don't have to go vegan. It has its benefits to it, but I gained like 30 something pounds in 1 month as a vegan. So even being a vegan is not the complete solution, because you got to know how to maneuver in the vegan universe just as much as because the vegan universe now is complete. When I first went vegan, thank God, we didn't have anything. Like I'm probably the largest impact in America was our movement in terms of transferring what used to be vegan into what you know of as vegan now. Because before us, vegan was like grass and, guys with open toe sandals on and dirty toenails, like burning incense, but they're really skinny. But even though they're really skinny, there's still no six pack. They're like flabby and skinny, like look like marathon runners. It was just like a like nobody wanted to be vegan. It was like, no, that's like a feminine. That's not a man. I'm
laughing because when my sister had told me for the first time she was going vegan, that's the exact picture I had in my head. Like, what is you gonna eat? Grass?
Listen, the first time I seen vegan was in this movie by the Fat Boys. The Disorderlies.
Yes, I love that movie.
Man, you took it back.
Yes, that was my first experience. That was the only thing I had to understand what a vegan was, and it was because he liked the little Spanish maid, I think it was. And she was like, no, you too big. I won't date a guy like you unless you're serious about getting your health together. You gotta be vegan. And she gave him a plate of actual grass. And that was, now later on I learned that was a plate of sprouts and blah, blah, blah. But even still, anybody switching from no chicken and macaroni and cheese to eating sprouts, like that's not congruent with my makeup. Like I'm not, so, you gotta understand how to, it takes time. So I was like, you know what? The problem with this thing is we have to change the trend. The idea of vegan has to, so I set out on a journey early on, even before we start doing the fast and everything, to change what the image looked like. I was like, nah, if we could start getting us, you know what I'm saying, the guys from the block, you know what I'm saying?
There you go.
And make it look like it's supposed to look, you know what I'm saying? Put a little drip and some other energy on it. Then it's like, oh, nah, you wait a minute. Are you not vegan? Hold on. If you're not vegan, then you okay, yeah, hold on. You can't go eat with us because we're not even, no, you trying to die. We trying to live.
Yes, I love it. I love
those types of conversations.
Started to wave.
Yeah, because you got to even you got to communicate with people wherever they at.
Yes.
It doesn't make sense for you to be out there, whether you in the corporate world, whether you up and down, sliding up and down a pole, or you on the corner, or you being an entrepreneur somewhere. It doesn't make sense for you to dedicate, from age 20 to age 40, 50, or 60, trying to get your bag together and establish yourself financially, only for by the time that you even get into a decent space, you on 8 medications. Your penis doesn't get hard anymore. You can't play catch with your kids. You can't play basketball with your son. You can't jump rope with your daughter. Like, what are you doing? Like, you just wasted your whole entire life chasing something that has no value. You know what I'm saying? So it was those types of conversations that really started to resonate with folks. Like, wait a minute, he's right. And then for my athletes, I started asking them. I'm like, yo, Michael Jordan did what Michael Jordan did on cow's milk and breakfast cereal and pancakes and waffles and pork sausages and all that. What if Michael Jordan had a diet catered to his talent from day one? I said, what if Mike Tyson, I just started running down athletes. That's great. I'm like, this guy is great on this. I'm showing clips of Floyd Mayweather at my lectures. I'm like, look at Floyd. Floyd's 50-0. This is 2 weeks before a fight comes up. And where's Floyd at? The Waffle House. I'm like, now what if Floyd was still Floyd, but the diet was different? He would be 70-0, not 50-0, 70-0. You know what I'm saying? One of the reasons why I'm such a big LeBron fan is because LeBron has validated a lot of things that I was saying to folks over the years. Is that, if the diet and the nutrition gets different, And it's funny that LeBron comes from where we was headquartered at. You know what I'm saying? He's from Cleveland. He's from Ohio. Ohio was the centerpiece of the 40-day fast. I used to teach in Cleveland State University this all the time. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a coincidence, you know what I'm saying, that he comes out of Cleveland, out of Ohio with this advanced nutrition, and now all his people done retired. The people that came in the NBA when he came in, they all retired looking terrible. He's still playing at the same point level as he was at year 2 and 3. And when he came in the league, he was averaging 30 points. This year right here, 20 years later, he's still averaging 30 points. Like, so they've never saw that before. And so everybody's like, oh my God, this is amazing and unique. I'm like, no, the only thing that's unique and amazing is that everybody else isn't already on this. When we look at some of the people dying in the hip hop, you know, Big Pun, or, you know, like recently a DJ named K Slade, pretty big, he passed away. And people are, oh, I'm in shock and awe. Then, you know, again, I'm gonna say some truth that people gonna get mad. So all you see is exposed Dr. Inky everywhere because everybody's mad with me. I'm like, no, we should not be surprised that K Slade died. He's a man in his middle 50s, and he's been overweight, chronically obese since I've known him. So I've been listening to his music since I was a kid. That means he's been big and obese like that for 35 years. There is no such thing as wrestling with COVID for 4.5 months unless you have other. Looking terrible. I said, this is because what we should be surprised and shocked and awe about is that we haven't put any money up to really eradicate this problem.
Right.
That's what surprised and awe about, because when Dr. Sebi was alive, you see, you got all the people now that say his name and blah, blah. When Dr. Sebi was alive, he couldn't get the athletes, the entertainers, the actors, or even the black leaders to put no money up.
Absolutely.
So none of the things that he was able to do was able to be rolled out, you know, worldwide. So I'm dealing with that issue now. I'm like, yo, $ Minister Enqi, let's go get them cash apps in, fund the movement. This is what we need to do. Blah, 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 blah. People moving at snail space. You know what I'm saying? But if I come online and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I've got a Tekashi 6ix9ine, people will be throwing cash apps like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so there's also a part of this problem that is a mental priority thing where we don't really understand what's happening and how soon. Meaning, most people don't understand. They're scared to get Alzheimer's. They're scared to get dementia. But in their mind, Alzheimer's and dementia is something you get at 50 or 60 years old. What they don't understand is
especially because of our nationality or whatever, our color.
Right. No, but that's not the truth. Listen, but let me tell you the truth. That's not the truth. The truth is that Alzheimer's is deceptive. Alzheimer's has a 20 to 50 year incubation period. So you don't get Alzheimer's at 50 or 60. You actually are getting Alzheimer's in your 20s. That's when you got the Alzheimer's. The Alzheimer's is building up because you have a space there. Your brain cells and your neurogenesis is able to buffer some of the building up of the plaques and some of the other things. But as you start to incorporate more things and then you get lazy, there's a part where we stop abstract study. And abstract study is how we exercise our brain. So once we stop abstract study, BDNF and all kinds of other stuff drops off, and now there's no neurogenesis, you only have the plaques building up. And so the brain starts to shrink. The pigment starts to dissipate, and then we have full-blown Alzheimer's, dementia, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But we don't realize it's early on. It's in the 20s when you have these. Like, so we've got to get really, you know, we've got to figure this thing out and get aggressive in terms of, you know, wanting to be here. You know, people buy generators for blackouts. People buy bulletproof vests for this oncoming, you know, national thing. Like that's not happening, but they keep thinking it's happening. Where they buy, you know, like every time an emergency happens, bullets and bulletproof vests sell out before water and toilet tissue. It's like bullets, bulletproof vests, and water and toilet tissue. I'm like, listen, COVID showed me how insane America was. Right? Like, listen, the COVID hit, which is a respiratory virus, and immediately bulletproof vests sold out, bullets then sold out, toilet tissue then sold out. I said, what in What are you people
Look,
doing?
this is the only thing that tripped me out. But you know what didn't sell out? Soap, paper towels.
Wait, not only that, what didn't sell out was everything you needed. Wait, the stuff that didn't sell out was the stuff you needed to fight.
The health stuff.
Yes.
Yep.
The produce section was loaded.
Yep.
The fruits, the vegetables, the herbs, they were loaded, overflowing. People were running past all the vegetables and all the things they needed to fortify their immune system to get toilet tissue, ice creams, chicken, the meat ran out. I said, these folks insane. Didn't they tell y'all that this is a zoonotic virus and y'all went and the first thing y'all purchased was meat? I said, y'all just don't know what y'all, it just doesn't. But
you got me laughing.
But listen, I'm the same guy. Yeah, I'm the same guy. I said, like, we were having some series of debates and I said, yeah, well, you know, this is more about horizontal gene transfer than anything else. When I said horizontal gene transfer, they all said, look, this guy is a fraud. He's just making up stuff. This is pseudo nonsense. There's no such thing as horizontal gene transfer. I said, man, you guys must have dropped out in elementary school. That's the problem. You guys didn't even wait to high school to drop out. You just dropped out in elementary school somewhere. Because all of these are the basic fundamentals of how life functions. It's not like it's some secret whatever. It's just a matter of reading. You know what I'm saying? But you know, we don't do that. So, you know, that's kind of.
Oh my God, Dr. Inky, you have blessed my soul this day. I'm talking about, I'm excited about all the information. It was so much information. So how can we get some more information from you? Where can our viewers go to gain some more knowledge about what you have? It looked like I say DrInky.com. Go to the website.
You can email me too. Melanin@gmail.com. All
right. And y'all see it on the shirt how to spell melanin versus diabetes too, in case you don't know how to spell it.
I need one of those shirts. I need one of those.
I do too. I want one.
Well, let me tell y'all the website for that is that I gotta write this actually down. So I'm gonna write it down in a private chat. Y'all could copy it and post it. polyibic.com.
Christy, make sure that you copy it and you post it for. Well, I might be able to do it here.
We got a bunch of stuff. We got everything. We got leggings, children's clothes, onesies, book bags, face masks, everything.
I got it copied. I just haven't pasted it nowhere yet.
Pictures for the wall, everything.
Well, melanin versus diabetes, but it seemed like Dr. Inky gave us so much more. He gave us information on our bodies, on melanin, the stuff that's in our brain, how it develops. And it's not just, you know, I thought melanin was just for Black people. So I truly have learned so much about my body system today. And I am so grateful for Dr. Inky taking our time to bless Lunchtime with Anna. I appreciate Anna for allowing me to come on Lunchtime with Anna. You know, me and Anna always air together, but I really appreciate it so much. I would love.
That's where I was going next. Dr. Inky, I'm actually in the process, and Christy will tell you, I'm actually in the process of opening up a whole radio station. I personally would like to invite you back on, specifically on Lunchtime with Anna, because trust me, we did air really, really late today. So normally we have, you'll see once if you'd like, you could send me a friend request and follow the page. You'll see that a lot of people watch it. You'll see that people will be watching. And I'm
not a big numbers person.
I'm asking you, well, I think it's important. And I'm going to tell you why. It's very important because we need to know this. Right now, I'm battling thyroid. It's not the easiest thing to, pretty much feel like you're starving yourself while everybody else is eating a nice meal. Christy knows, while I was over there in Louisiana, I had a salad. And they were eating chicken wings and stuff like that. They were eating. I
didn't have chicken wings. I couldn't eat chicken wings. I was eating fish, grilled fish.
Yeah, she did. She ate grilled fish. I think it was my son that had chicken wings.
Yeah, that was your son that
I think those numbers are important because we need to be educated. In this case, yes.
It doesn't matter if you're vegan or non-vegan. I've been able to reverse diabetes in everybody. It doesn't matter. It's just about knowing what it is to eat, when to eat it. You know, we kind of got like couple of little cheat codes in terms of how we schedule eating that really allows for, you know, our body to metabolize a lot of stuff better. And that's how I've been able to like lose, you know, demonstrate it by losing 25 pounds without any exercise.
That's awesome.
I need that code
That's
book.
really awesome.
Your body has a certain, everybody based on their genetics, your body has a comfort zone where you want to be at. Where it wants to be. And, you know, we eat and pervert it and kind of do our own thing. But if we put it, like if we get back to the natural system, your body will flush and get to a space where it wants to be at, which is
and it'll be comfortable.
Yeah, which is usually back to your high school, you know, your high school shape.
Oh Lord, if I can get back to that. Woo,
Help the people on. Don't get back to that. Y'all in trouble.
Easy too. Easy.
Well, I tell you what, I'm gonna put you on my personal get me back fine. Y'all think I'm playing. Get me back fine.com.
So, and Dr. Inky, I want to ask you though, are you willing to come? I don't care if you want to come twice a month. Specifically to this platform because we need this education. You guys come with your questions. You guys, he's doing this out of the kindness of his heart for us. I learned, and Christy has a medical training as well as I do. I have 4 years that I specified just in medical. Christy has about the same. Okay. You focus so much on what they teach you, the literature, that you forget. And it's like simple. Even with Dr. Savvy, it was simple. You know, I've gone to taking a lot of vitamins. I actually have somebody who was telling me to stop taking vitamins, to actually start taking the products naturally, because I'm causing more harm to my body than anything. But I'm so wanting to get healthier and healthier that I'm willing to try anything. Yes, we will. Now, next question to you is, when can I have you back on here? What day of the week works for you? I will make it happen.
I'm super flat. Well, you know what? I'm about to say the wrong thing. I'm about to say I'm super flexible. Anytime you want. No, and then as soon as I get off, knowledge is going to hit me up and say, like, why did you mess up my schedule? Because knowledge kind of handles all of that stuff. But I don't think we really have a lot of stuff. Yeah, I don't think we really have a lot of stuff early in the daytime like this. So I think that we kind of, and I'm the cheapest date. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't have any, you know, I'm good. You know what I'm saying?
And you know what? I wanted to say this, and I'm going to tell, you know, I'm so glad we talked to you, because I have changed my diet tremendously from when I was, I've lost almost 50 pounds. Wow. But I had weight loss surgery in March. And so I changed my whole diet plan after that. I started eating, I'm like I said, I'm going towards vegan. I'm introducing vegan into my body, and I eat very little, but the little I eat, I'm focused on protein.
Yeah, that's the way to go.
And also it's like, it's a newfound joy.
How do you get the rest? Like, so here's the thing with your proteins, right? So focusing on the proteins are good if you've got a rigorous workout routine that you need to repair from. But other than that, the protein is not really nutrient dense. The nutrient comes from your greens.
Well, because I have the surgery, it's depleting a lot of it. So I have to put more.
Oh, right, because you're recovering from surgery. Say less. So you absolutely need protein.
So I have to, because they took my stomach out. So they took 70% of my stomach out.
See, now here's the thing. The only thing that's dangerous with the weight loss surgeries, because people often ask me, should they get one? They're like, I'm thinking about getting one. I'm like,
I did it.
Where's the skinny on the weight loss surgery? Do you? Because I had this one girl, right? And I have to make this story super short, right? But she hits me up and she's asking me about this. And she starts to get mad with me because I won't make up her mind for her. I'm like, that's your body. All I'm going to do is give you the pros and I'm going to give you the cons. But I'm not going to say yay or nay. So that way, if something goes wrong, you say, oh, well, Inky said, no. Inky gave you the pros, Inky gave you the cons, I gave you the benefits, because I'm not really anti, like, a lot of holistic folks, they have this anti-doctor. I'm like, no. You need doctors. If your child is riding a skateboard, they fall down and bust their head, you ain't getting ready to take no herbal capsules for that. You need to go get some stitches. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there's a place where everybody works. I think one of the things is seeing, like, when you deal with folks with money, they have all of them: surgeons, dietitians, nutritionists. You need a whole team. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, she's asking me, what should she do? What should she do? And I tell her the pros and cons. She goes, she gets the surgery. After the surgery, she heals up nicely. Everything's fine, no complications. And she cussed me out like crazy. So when she cussed me out, right, I'm like, she like, why you didn't tell me that I was still going to have to eat this same stuff you talking about? This was the whole purpose of me getting my stomach done, was so that I could just keep doing what I'm doing and woo-woo. I said, I told you.
It's different.
You can't get around the nutrition. You still, when you get the surgery, the doctors are going to tell you, okay, now you got to eat like this. You can't do that. You can't do this. So for the people that don't have the discipline, when you have the stomach surgery makes you much more sensitive to ratchetness. So until you got that discipline where you know you could control your eating habits, that surgery might be a dangerous thing for you, because you like really walking on eggshells when you get that surgery done. You got to be, because you don't have the room, you don't have the capacity. Your stomach doesn't have the natural movements like it used to in terms of emptying and refilling, and all those things become a little bit different now. So yeah, it's if you can do the discipline and stick with it. A lot of people have had great success with the stomach surgeries, but some people think they think that's a fix where they have to make no changes, just the surgery.
And that's not true.
It's not true at all.
That's why I said, even with me, I had to change my whole. It's like your body becomes a baby again, and you have to teach it how to eat, and your body's teaching you what it's going to take. Because I used to look, I'm from down south. I love down home sausages. One of my favorite things. After this surgery, I can't eat it. If I eat it, I'm going to the bathroom like, I'm sick. So it's like me relearning my body and what it wants. Because I used to love milk. I used to drink milk 24/7. Now I can't have lactose. Now I'm all of a sudden lactose intolerant. I have to drink Fairlife milk. So it's a different way your body. You just gotta listen to it and know. Like, I eat so much vegetables and meat, and and I'm looking like, okay, I can't exercise this way, I have to exercise that way. It's like your body is teaching you, like, I'm in school. It's my own body, and I'm in school because I don't even know it sometimes. But it's a journey that I'm loving, and it's a journey where it's making me feel good, because I'm no longer diabetic. I no longer have cholesterol. Right before my surgery, my doctor was going to put me on cholesterol medicine. I was already on the highest.
Let me speak to that cholesterol thing real quick before we get out of here. Because y'all both mentioned cholesterol a few times. I heard that word thrown around, and I kind of just let it go over my head. So here's the problem with that, because there's another thing. That's the other, black folks, high blood
Latinos.
So here's how this goes, right? So one of my most popular book, I'm trying to look around and see if I can find a copy of it. Well, here's a couple of them, right? So they're really big books,
Okay.
But it's called Eat Right for Your Haplotype, right? Not your blood type, not your haplotype, totally different. And the reason being is because there are differences that we have in terms of how our bodies function. You know what I'm saying? So one of the things is, if you're a darker skin, if you're a colored person, that means that your family is more of an equatorial haplotype, meaning your family is from a hot place. If your family is from a hot place, That means you get UVB year round. UVB only happens year round at the equator. Period. So if your family's from a polar region where they don't have the year round, it's going to be completely different. Now, the substrate that works in terms of UVB in your body is cholesterol. Cholesterol is the thing in your body that UVB turns into vitamin D. So the reason why we have the high cholesterol is because the cholesterol is supposed to constantly being converted into vitamin D. Meaning, I'm in Michigan right now. If I lived in, I don't know, Haiti or Jamaica, where there's constant UVB and I'm working outside or I'm constantly exposed to the sun, it wouldn't matter how much cholesterol is building up inside my body because it would constantly be being converted into vitamin D. But because we're in these northern climates, and then also we're indoors all day. Now we've been set up society, so most of us either work or go to school throughout the daytime when the UVB is out. So you're not getting any UVB on your skin to convert the cholesterol into vitamin D. So the problem then becomes poor conversion. So now the cholesterol builds up. And then, of course, we couple that with poor choices in food. So instead of us having the healthier fats that are more mobile, we have fats that are that form plaques. And then when the fats form plaques in places, the body dispatches the white blood cells to go clean up the fats. But guess what? White blood cells are greedy as well. And white blood cells say, wait a minute, what is this? Oh my God, this is delicious. And so when the white blood cells supposed to be cleaning, they start eating and say, oh my God, this is delicious. Now the white blood cells, their body becomes obese. White blood cells have obesity issues. I couldn't believe this. So this little thing that goes on in my mind is what makes reading science textbooks exciting, because my mind can just see it. I'm looking like, wait a minute, white blood cells are struggling with obesity? Yeah, just look it up. It's called a foam cell. FOAM. White blood cells, they start eating these plaques and stuff to try to clean it up, but then they get addicted to whatever it is they're eating and turn into a foam cell. Now the foam cells come together and clog up the arteries, the veins, etc., etc. This is where you start to get, hardening and all kinds of other issues that we associate with, what I'm saying? So a lot of it is just understanding, again, how the body naturally works and then being able to make those things happen. So get your butt out there in the sunlight. If your life doesn't fix it, if your life doesn't allow it, then you have to fix it. You have to make some changes. And if you can't make changes to get outside, then you have to do the next best thing is bring outside indoors. You know what I'm saying? So I spent a lot of time getting folks to buy, different types of light bulbs and UVB light bulbs. So like every room in my house has at least one UVB light bulb, so that all year long in here, there's some UVB being produced, because, you only can get it in northern climates from April to September and some of that other stuff. So anyway, I know y'all trying to get up out of here, you know what I'm saying? But, and see, for me, I do like 11 hour, like I got 11 hour. I used to do like 11-hour videos, 8-hour videos. So yeah, because it's a lot of info, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I can go.
Well, what I want to do, and it's because Christy has an event she had to be at. What I want to do is when I have you back, you let me know what schedule. I put my number in the private chat. You call me and you let me know. You can come anytime. I will work around your schedule. Okay. I think this is very important. I don't care if you're on air 2-3 hours. I don't care if you're on air 30 minutes. Whatever you want to do, I'm giving you free space to do as you please to help educate our people. I think it's super, super, super important to do that for the people. I can't even thank you enough for how much you taught me in just this hour and almost 30 minutes. I just can't thank you enough. I must say, I am Puerto Rican. I'm one of your Boricua sisters from the Caribbean as well. So Haiti is our neighboring country. We're all from the Caribbean, so we understand each other. Our foods are almost the same, and we love to eat.
Man,
so I totally get you.
And listen, do you know the whole thing about the Caribbean is based on sugar? I didn't even know that. I didn't know that the Haitian Revolution was about sugar. The Haitian Revolution was about sugar. Then from Haiti, the biggest sugar plantation, once the Haitians burnt the first thing they did in the rebellion was to burn the sugar fields.
Good for them.
They went and replanted over in Cuba. And
in Puerto Rico also.
And lived in Puerto Rico. So that way they couldn't get killed and lose their money at the same time like they did in Haiti. And then from Cuba, it went to Louisiana, and then we here. Anyway,
that's why pirates and stuff became so bad, because they was trying to steal the stuff at sea to bring. Yeah, I'm with you on that history, boy. I got
you. So, Dr. Enqi, anytime you want, please call me off air. We need to speak. I'm so happy that I was finally able to get you on the platform. And I apologize. I've had to travel out of state. I've had some filming and stuff. And I have some clients that we were really getting in on some stuff. And please, Dr. Enqi, if you run into anybody that needs our assistance, my human justice organization, that's what we're here for. We're here to help each other, right? And anything that helps.
Let me say something about that thing. With this whole prison system, let me just say a message to America.
Go ahead.
America, listen. Y'all have so many people that are dying to go to jail. Like, this is not yesteryear. You don't have to trick folks into prison. People are dying to go to jail. Let them innocent folks out. There are plenty of people right here in the neighborhood that need to go to prison.
That's right. That's right.
Look at Young Thug and the other one. These guys got it backwards. They're waiting till they get money and then move out of the neighborhood and secure their family, become criminals. So listen, there are plenty of people. Like, I thought the job was to be like, you're in poverty. You don't have opportunity, so you become a criminal to escape poverty, get your family to safety. Not be a good guy all your life, then get into a space where your family's secure, then throw it all away by being. So there are plenty of people that are dying to go to jail. Let them innocent folks up out of there.
Absolutely. And I love the way you said that. But I'll tell you something, Dr. Enqi, and this is what we're waiting on. So as we're watching, one of the main things that we're looking at is that because all of them are going in on those indictments, they got to make more beds because they're facing some serious time. So we're hoping that our clients that we've been taking on for get released and they all get sent home. So out of their bad, something's good is going to come out of it if it's the Lord's will. So I'm up for it. So
yeah, I'm at the edge of my seat. Like, I don't want to leave. I'm like, oh, keep going, but I have to. If I don't make it to the ring ceremony, my daughter will not forgive me.
Let me thank you ladies for having me. Let me thank everybody for watching, listening, everything. And because I won't stop. I have to shut myself up. Peace to the family.
Yes. God bless. Bye. I love him. You guys will see a lot more of him. He's going to be part of the family. You're best.
I love him.
With that being said, God bless. Huh?
We need to ask him the Monday night panel.
Yes. I think he would do great. With that being said, each and every one of you guys, have a wonderful day. We will see you guys at 6 p.m.
Can you guys please quit calling? You guys know I'm on air.
With that being said, I will see you guys at 6 o'clock with On the Rise. And from On the Rise, what we'll do is, sorry, you guys, I got to block people who continue to disrespect and call With that being said, we will see you guys on the rise 6 to 8 p.m. tonight with Minister Jamie Eatman and Lady Internet and the whole panel. And tomorrow we will see you guys with the Bible study at Genesis. Please come on. And Christy will be Friday at 7 o'clock in the morning Eastern time for Forgiving Fridays. God bless each and every one of you guys. I will see you guys next Wednesday on Lunchtime with Anna. Ciao.